Welcome. This is David Boles' Human Meme. James Baldwin chased the definition of roles and race his entire life. A black man, Harlem-born in 1924, a grandson of slaves, James Baldwin made sweeping insights about contextual race, the color of skin, in America, in history. And he did it most effectively in voluntary exile abroad from France when he moved there in 1948 at the age of 24. As a gay man who also enjoyed the sexual company of women, James Baldwin didn't hide. In 1969, he said, "If you love a boy, you love a boy." Sexuality was not an aberration, he felt, but a purpose of being and a direction to be explored in many different, mysterious ways. The life of a writer is learned in their words. And here's what James Baldwin taught us to never forget as he reflected on his early teen years as a preacher in his stepfather's church, to his book reviewer days while living in Greenwich Village in New York City, and to the killing of his friends, Medgar Evers in 1963, Malcolm X in 1965, and Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968. The Fire Next Time, written 1963, was James Baldwin's first big mainstream hit book, and it consisted of 2 essays on race: My Dungeon Shook, Letter to My Nephew on the 100th Anniversary of Emancipation, and Down at the Cross, Letter from a Region of My Mind. Here's a bit from the book. If one is continually surviving the worst that life can bring, one eventually ceases to be controlled by a fear of what life can bring. Whatever it brings must be borne. And at this level of experience, one's bitterness begins to be palatable, and hatred becomes too heavy a sack to carry. Color is not a human or a personal reality. It is a political reality. The next segment from James Baldwin was spoken by the character Meridian Henry in his play Blues for Mr. Charlie. Written in 1964, the play was inspired by the life of Emmett Till, a 14-year-old black teenager who was maimed, then shot, then made to sink to the bottom of the Tallahatchie River by 2 assassins in Mississippi in 1955. All of that happened after Emmett allegedly made a pass at a white woman in a grocery store. I do not wish to see Negroes become the equal of their murderers. I wish us to become equal to ourselves, to become a people so free in themselves that they will have no need to fear others and have no need to murder others. Emmett Till's mother demanded an open casket funeral that showed his bloated, mangled body as evidence of all racism in America. And no civil rights story told today can escape the long, terrible shadow and the eternal darkness of the death of Emmett Till. Finally, from James Baldwin's 1968 Tell Me How Long the Train's Been Gone, we learn about the inner conflict between men and fathers and sons and the tearing asunder of a family. For our father, how shall I describe our father? Was a ruined Barbados peasant, exiled in a Harlem which he loathed, where he never saw the sun or the sky he remembered, where life took place neither indoors nor without, and where there was no joy. By which I mean no joy that he remembered. Had it been otherwise, had he been able to bring with him into the prison where he perished any joy that he felt on that far-off island, then the air of the sea and the impulse to dancing would have sometimes transfigured our dreadful rooms. Our lives might have been very different. But no. He brought with him from Barbados only black rum and a blacker pride, and magic incantations which neither healed nor saved. James Baldwin crafts words that bite from the page. He speaks with an awful reality that cannot be abided, and yet we do, in the denial. James Baldwin died of stomach cancer in France, December 1, 1967. He was only 63. James Baldwin became the lost voice of a generation of suffering and death, and he didn't want to be a spokesman or the leader of the revolt, even though that's precisely the role his words have held for us. James Baldwin only wanted to be a writer and to witness the truth, and in that legacy, we find his words are self-evident and real in the bored sort of blood clot flaying a butcher does to a carcass into bone. A solemn deed that must first be done before the benefits of the beast may be reaped. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.